ಐಟಿಸಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಹಭಾಗಿತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ್ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಕಟಿಸಿದೆ. ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ್ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಬಳಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕರ ಆಹಾರ ಪದ್ಧತಿಗಳ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅರಿವು ಮೂಡಿಸುವ ಗುರಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುವ ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಉಪಕ್ರಮವಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಉಪಕ್ರಮದ ಮೂಲಕ ಐಟಿಸಿ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ, ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಮತ್ತು ತೆಲಂಗಾಣದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಗರ್ಭಿಣಿಯರು ಮತ್ತು ಹಾಲುಣಿಸುವ ತಾಯಂದಿರು ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ 30 ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳ 5 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಫಲಾನುಭವಿಗಳನ್ನು ತಲುಪುವ ಗುರಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಕೊರತೆಯ ಅಸ್ವಸ್ಥತೆಗಳ ಐಡಿಡಿ ನಿರ್ಣಾಯಕ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಗುರಿಯಾಗಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕರ ಆಹಾರ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯನ್ನು ಉತ್ತೇಜಿಸುವ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಹಯೋಗದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಐಟಿಸಿ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಈ ಉಪಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದೆ. 30 ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಸೇವನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮತೋಲಿತ ಪೋಷಣೆಯ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜಾಗೃತಿ ಮೂಡಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಗರ್ಭಿಣಿಯರು, ಹಾಲುಣಿಸುವ ತಾಯಂದಿರನ್ನು ತಲುಪುವ ಗುರಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಸಮಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಉನ್ನತ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಚಿವರಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಂ. ಸಿ. ಸುಧಾಕರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಐಟಿಸಿ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ನ ಸ್ಟೇಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಣಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಅನುಜ್ ರುಸ್ತಗಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿದ್ದರು. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕ, ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್, ಐಜಿಡಿ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್. ಶಾಂತನು ಶರ್ಮಾ, ಮೆದುಳಿನ ಹಾನಿ ಮತ್ತು ಬುದ್ಧಿಮಾಂದ್ಯತೆಯು ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಕೊರತೆಯಿಂದ ಉಂಟಾಗುವ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಅಸ್ವಸ್ಥತೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಮತ್ತು ದೈಹಿಕ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಗೆ, ಚಯಾಪಚಯ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಅಗತ್ಯವಿದೆ. ಗರ್ಭಿಣಿ ಮತ್ತು ಶುಶ್ರೂಷಾ ತಾಯಂದಿರಿಗೆ ಇದು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿದೆ.
Made some progress or not, we are going to look at the indicators at baseline, that is before the start of the intervention, and then going to compare it at the end, have been able to make in the knowledge, in the practices, perceptions in the community. And these are the different social innovations we are going to use. We are going to ensure the growth of kitchen gardens or nutri gardens in the community. We are going to have our wall writings with key messages about iodine deficiency disorders. We are going to teach our communities about different recipes that are rich in iodine and other micronutrients. We are going to conduct some role plays on Nukka.
Unfortunately, I tried to convince our minister, but since he had other programs and he had to travel to Shimaga, he expressed his inability, and then again our Minister for Women and Child Development also was not in town, and finally I had to say that only I will come and address and probably be part of this very unique and a very meaningful program. See, government alone cannot take up certain issues with regard to creating awareness amongst the masses and the public. There is always an equal responsibility of such organizations to come forward and see that they join hands with the government in creating awareness and see that such disorders are not going to affect the general public, especially in the future of this country. So as they've come out with a nice leaflet, I think here they have mentioned what are the ways of trying to create awareness amongst the children as well as the pregnant women, lactating mothers, and the general public, how they are supposed to have the minimum requirement of iodine content. So, as we saw, what are the supplements or what should be our dietary choices in terms of having the required amount of iodine in our body. So you all know we are all
For welfare and health in the state. Before I begin, I'm moving away from the script. Let me tell you a story. Right. So I have two young boys, 10 years old, and on weekends I take time to teach them science. They were learning about photosynthesis and starch, and there is a big test you do on starch and leaf, right? Which is that photosynthesis happen, which is called the iodine test. So that got me curious to them, asking my kids on, do you know about iodine, right? And they had never heard so much about iodine, and that brought me back to my childhood, because when I was a kid, there was a lot of education and school program which used to happen on educating children and children like me at that time upon what is iodine, why is it important, what happens when we are deficient. And it so happened the very next day I was going for consumer home visit, and I met this woman. I was going for atta business, but I met this.
Be micronutrient deficiency like iron deficiency anemia, various vitamin deficiencies like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, or it could be like very important iodine deficiency disorders. They say around 10% of Indian population is affected by one or other types of thyroid disorders. So, as it is already briefed now, iodine is a mineral which is essential for production of thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormone, as we all know, if it is not produced in sufficient quantities, in sufficient time, there will be problem with the growth and development of human. It could be fetus, infant, young children, pregnant mothers, adults, anybody can be affected. Told by previous speakers, like good percentage of Indian population is suffering from iodine deficiency disorders. To say a few or some of the important thyroid deficiency or iodine deficiency disorders are cretinism,